Welcome to the first dev diary for Cities Skylines 2, and today we are looking into road tools. Let's take a look at it.
The roads crisscrossing your city.
Well, we will stop the video at every second so we can take a look at a few things in here, because I think we can get a little bit more insights on the things that they're showing us, and maybe even find like some uh, details that they haven't announced yet. First things first, in here, I think we can see quite a lot in this image. And one of the things that I want to bring to your attention is it right here, just next to the Road Tools title in there. So what you're seeing here, and I'll let the video go in a second, it might be a traffic accident. And we'll talk a little bit more about that because this is big. It seems like you can now have traffic accidents in the city, and that will be dependent on the how well maintained your roads are. So that's a big one, and I'm really interested to see how that mechanics will work during the release of the game. We can also see that on the train tracks in here, you have a much smoother connection between the tracks in there. Same thing that looks like in this one, splitting into three lines over there. And we do have some sort of traffic jam going on over here. And also, well, roundabouts, we'll see more roundabouts in a second. But yeah, I think this is the main thing in here. Can also show you that some of the arrows in here, they look straight and they are actually following the road layout. I'll show you a little bit more about that so you understand what I mean. But this is also one of those details that might make a lot of difference down the line. And not to mention that you have the lines in here with the little roundabout design or wiggle in the middle there to show you that that is a roundabout. But let's see what else we have in there.
Are more than a means of transport. By connecting citizens to their work, families, and communities, they are the veins and arteries.
Really good view in here, and a few things that I want to notice. As I mentioned, now you just don't have straight arrows and left and right. You have those sort of curved arrows as well when they are not like a straight left or right, which is fantastic. Have some people walking there, and the speed of people walking is a lot more realistic as well, which is fantastic. We have some bicycle, not bicycle, motorcycles in here, and you can see several going on the traffic throughout the video as well. And this beautiful, nice tram road at the middle in there.
Of your city's beating heart.
This is quite exciting. So in this view, you can see all these line details, all vanilla, like all in the game, all done automatically for you. You have more over here as well. And I can see that here looks like you do have traffic lights. On this one, you don't have. So I don't know if that just changes slightly, but again, the arrows in here showing you a curve instead of a right connection. Even this one showing a slight curve in there. And this is quite interesting, looks much better. This seems to be some sort of power station or transformer or something like that for your city. And the amount of people walking on the sidewalk in there as well is quite fantastic. Lots of pedestrian paths in here on this park, and that is quite nice as well. But let's see.
Every pathway you carve out shapes the routine every day and opens the door to the extreme.
Now, lots of different colors for cars in here. Although I think some of these colors, they look a little bit artificial. Like, for example, this one over here, maybe I don't know, this one looks a little bit weird as well. I think they're going to use like a random color palette. So basically the mix of colors could be anything in there, which makes things a lot more realistic. And when you look from far away, I quite like the variation of colors for the cars as well. Road speeds is also something that we'll see across all the plays in the video, and we do have that indication in most plays. Now, what I don't know is exactly the road types. This one has this yellow mark. I feel like you'll be able to change it, and I'll provide a little bit more information on that in a second. But you can do quite a lot with your roads. But let's see what else we have in here. I like the variation of buildings that we are seeing as well.
Extraordinary events that define their
We immediately go far, far away, and this looks fantastic. A lot more that you can see in here. This connection is the one that we are looking before from this angle, looking to the bridge and seeing all the trams coming there. So, but this is quite a nice connection and complex in this way. Parking lots, you see several parking lots, and parking lots, by the way, are confirmed. It seems like on the interview during the Xbox events where they announced the release date, they also confirmed that there won't be pocket cars anymore. That is amazing, quite like that, and I'm keen to see how the mechanics will work, if there will be no despawning at all, or that will happen some other way. I would love to see how that will work. Something else in here, the connections to the highways, they seem to be very, very well thought. So as you can see, you have 3 lanes, it goes straight into 5 lanes, and those 2 lanes in here go into 3, and then it goes into 2 and 1. This is really, really amazing. And I think they are using a lot more of lane mathematics and using that in a way that really makes sense and keep the traffic flow just going.
lives. City building starts with roads.
This view in here, as you can see, the junctions, they are quite well made. You have the solid lines in there, traffic choosing the right lanes, everything working as it should. And even complex junctions like this one, although this one has traffic lights in there for some reason, and I don't think it should have. But at the same time, if you feel like they'll cross each other's way in here, it makes sense. Also, this connection to a tunnel right under this connection from ground to elevated roads, really good, really, really good. So I love that.
Roads allow people, goods, and services to
A lot more to see over here, but I think we've seen this from different angles as well. As you can see, this is a pedestrian bridge, and oh, this looks so beautiful. Like, this is much better bridge for pedestrians there, and looks quite good. That tunnel, again, from another angle, looks pretty smooth, and I like to see how traffic build up will actually happen and if we'll have despawning or not. But yeah, that's to be seen.
move through your city, of course. And in Cities Skylines too, all roads except for highways automatically carries water, electricity, and sewage lines.
All right, confirmation that all this that we can see here is carrying water, electricity, and sewage. So no, not hot water, as I've mentioned before, that I thought might be the third one. So water, sewage, and electricity. Those are the pipes that we have in there, except for highways.
It's a shortcut that lets you focus on what you love about city building sooner.
Oh, something very, very interesting in here. So, as you can see, we have water availability, obviously consumption and output, water trade, which is exciting, and sewage export, which is also exciting. Seems like you'll be able to buy and sell water with your neighboring cities and sewage as well. So another economics piece of work in there that we know a little bit more. I don't know how that's going to work yet. This is just not mentioned anywhere. We might have some news later on about this, but I think this confirms that you can trade with other cities. If they are cities that you built your own city, I don't know, or that they might be just the made up cities, fantasy cities that we had like in Cities Skylines 1, but definitely you'll be able to do that. And by the way, not just that, I'm looking at this and finding new things every time I look at that. So, well, obviously, water consumption, some stats, but groundwater deposits. Does that mean that you'll be able to take water from the ground only if you have deposits underground? Otherwise, you have to get like water from rivers and things like that. That's really interesting, and that will change quite a lot on how we build cities. Oh, exciting.
You'll construct and refine your road network using road tools. They're easy to learn and flexible.
Just look at this. Although they are talking about water service, sewage, they're having like medical plopping down the road, but I think it's just to show you the connections being created with water, electricity, and sewage in there.
Inviting you to follow your creative impulses. Returning players will welcome
There we go. I will go back a little bit because we are talking about the tool modes that we have and how, although familiar, there will be newer tools that we can use. So first one is the straight tool, and we've considered like what are those other options in here. We had this before. We now have a simple curve. We had that before, so it's defined start, bends, and the end point. We have the complex curve, which is basically you start on a point, define a middle point, a bend, and then another bend. So you basically create an S road, and you have the continuous with an endless series of bends. So you can be bend, 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 bend. That was the freeform tool that we had before. Plus you have grids and you have the
most wished for features. Other features are
replace tool. All right, I'll go back so we can hear what the recording is saying a little bit better.
Will welcome upgrades to the road tools that introduce several of the most wished for features. Other features are totally new. Use the road tools to create seamless city blocks in just 3 clicks, in no time.
So just going slightly back in there, building the grids, as you just saw, you create the starting point, the distance, and then you extend that, and that creates the whole city, not city, the whole grid for you. And look at this 6 deep as well. So that is, I think that was confirmed before, but just making sure that we also pay attention to that. I like how the tool there work as well, and the angle showing how deep this is. I really like that.
No time. You'll lay long, beautiful stretches of road.
All right, this is a lot in here. So I can see tennis courts. So I believe this would be a park in the park asset in the game. We have a little bit of another park in there. I want to see if we have dog parks as well. They are classic, but this building in here looks beautiful and seems like it could be a cemetery. And I don't know if these are, what are they called? I forgot the name, where you have like the name of the person. But yeah, it looks like a cemetery, and this looks like a car park in that asset. So yeah, if that is, it is what I think it is, then beautiful asset for the city. Really like that.
To link lively residential and industrial districts to your buzzing city center.
Looking at what we might have in here, we do have another, what looks like, I don't know if that's a unique asset or some form of service building, but it looks quite different in there as well. Several builds. They're showing quite a lot of gridded cities. I would love to see a more freeform suburb or city mode layout. But lots of car parks in here as well, over here. And I don't know if they are spawned buildings. I hope they're not. I hope you have to actually manually put them where you want. But it seems like, and I might talk about this in a second as well, but it seems like citizens will choose their destinations or the transport method to their destination based on availability of car parks as well. So, for example, if there is a car park just next to the building where they want to go, they might choose car, or they might choose to walk if there isn't anything available, or public transportation. So, obviously, less car parks you have, more public transportation is needed, and vice versa. So that would be really, really interesting and a challenge that I'm very keen to take on. As you know, my cities, I really don't like to add a lot of car parks. Sometimes we do as a fun exercise, but for this, I think this would be quite exciting to see how we can play with that and balance the city to still make that work and provide areas where they can park and actually go to their destinations using public transportation.
Just like that, you'll thread traffic along wide, curving streets.
Ooh, all right. A lot in here. So you do have at the bottom some curvy roads in there, although it's, if I move my mouse, like you can't see it. So I'll try to not move it. I'm really trying not to move it, I swear. It doesn't seem too bad, but it does seem that you do have those gaps between buildings when you have the curve. Like I'm talking exactly about this point over here. There is a kind of an empty spot in there. So I don't think they have, like, they didn't extend the area of the house or the building based on those curves. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of a sad news in there, but you know, we've done with that so far. I think we can survive until Cities Skylines 3. Or maybe not. Also, Water Tower look way more realistic and really fit in the city. We have this American football stadium over here, some new parks. This might be a university, by the way, instead of just a park. Looks like the university in there. Really nice. I don't know if that's a port. Looks like a port in there, but some train connections in here. That unique building that I mentioned before, and those bridges that looks really, really cool. Like the bridges that we have in here are amazing. And yeah, really nice details. If you pay attention, you can see some buildings being reflected on the water as well, especially in here. This area, you can see that very clearly. And this is exciting. This looks a lot more realistic, and the depth in this map. Oh, beautiful. Let's go.
Streets and elegant elevated highways. You'll even add bridges and tunnels.
I have to say that I'm not a huge fan of the animation on the chimneys. They look a little bit odd, the way it's happening. It doesn't look, it doesn't match with the buildings and the realism of the city. That's what I'm saying. But apart from that, like having that smoke, I can see that it doesn't create that weird, hazy, yellowish ground type of stuff, or at least it doesn't seem like it does. But this view is beautiful. Like this bridge is fantastic. Really love that.
In only a few clicks. Intersections have been overhauled and
Yeah, that's something that's really interesting now. They're talking about the overhaul of intersections and how easier they'll be able to be done and created, and using pre-made ones as well. But a few things that I want you to notice in here. First, car park. Second, the tunnel in there. Again, everything very smooth. But all the intersections that they're showing, they do have lane mathematics in it from scratch, which is absolutely fantastic. But that's something else in here. that you notice throughout the whole video that there is a lot of areas surrounding like the water that it's just landscaped, like it's just the land just finishes in there. So you don't have that odd transition between land and water anymore, like looking like just weird rocks in there that you will, or we would do keys everywhere, or we'll do like a smooth transition, or we put a lot of rocks and vegetation to hide it. So as you can see, this looks quite natural and can make it look a lot better, and it looks a lot more realistic as well. And yeah, I'll be honest, I really like that.
Cities Skylines too. Placement rules are less restrictive, and you can use pre-made intersections on new and existing roads.
So again, it's saying that you can use pre-made intersections in new and existing roads. So it will connect with your existing network. So you don't need like snapping or anything like that to make that happen, which is really, really cool. And also looking at these type of connections where you have a loop going to the level of the highway crossing above ground in there. This was really difficult to do, especially when you're doing this curving here that kinds of go above the existing roads underground. Oh, that's so good. It's basically a network anarchy built in, and I love it. By the way, this port in here looks fantastic. I don't know if you have like modular ports or if it's just one big unique asset that you plop in there, but this looks like a warehouse as well. Not sure if that will be added or not, but yeah, some really nice things that we can find in here.
Made intersections on new and existing roads. You can also add roundabouts. Yep.
Roundabouts, great. But before we get there, I just want to show you that we have like a parking in here with electric vehicles in it. And again, the arrows that I was mentioning about having the wiggly thing on the middle showing that that is a roundabout. So as you can see, this shows that you can go straight or left. And in here, that you can only go left, and this left and right, and this just straight. Awesome. And you can set that up. Like you basically can, when you build a roundabout, it sets all the rules for you of a roundabout straight away. No more need for Traffic Manager President Edition. And that is really, really good.
They're here. From gentle suburban roundabouts to roaring multi-lane roundabouts, it's never been easier to engineer uninterrupted streams of traffic.
To see, well, we kind of know a few things in here. From the dev diary, we know that you can actually set up your roads anywhere you want. So you lay down a road and you can add on top of that your run network. You don't need a specific road with run tracks anymore. You can add that after the fact on any roads that you already have. You can also add some bus lanes in there, and they will be unique for buses. And in here, as you can see, how flexible it is. Basically, you get your train tracks in there. It doesn't need to go around the roundabout. It just follows the way. Interesting that it cuts through all of this as well in here, and cuts through the middle of the roundabout, changing from the grass in the middle to the tracks crossing in there as well. Really, really good. Like this gives you so much flexibility. By the way, you can also increase the width of the sidewalks, removing the parking space in there. You can add trees in the middle or on the sides of grass as well, and you can really customize it in several ways. Only thing to notice is this little bit in here that is kind of weird, but you do have a light post in there, and I guess that had to go somewhere, but that is a little bit odd in there. But yeah, really exciting in terms of the the roundabouts there.
That's because roads will be configured automatically, so vehicles can enter and exit the roundabout safely. Simply drop your preferred roundabout over an existing intersection and
And
ta-da!
I will show that again. Like the way you do this, as you can see, you start with a simple intersection. And when you drag and drop the roundabout, it just change everything. It's beautiful.
Roundabout over an existing intersection and ta-da! A whole new way to move people, goods, and services through your city.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but it doesn't add zoning on the roundabout itself as well, preventing some of those weird situations where you had buildings growing on a roundabout or like on an area of the roundabout. And that's really, really nice as well.
Decide the direction of traffic and how it flows by placing traffic lights, crosswalks, and directional no-turn traffic signs.
Great thing in there. So you can do basically, as you can see, the options here at the bottom, you have quite a lot. This one, I just don't know, I think this is the road maintenance depot. So you can add and remove traffic lights, stop signs. I wonder if you have yield signs as well. That would be something that I would really look forward. No right and left turn. This is the pedestrian crossing. You can add that or remove as well. You can increase the size of the sidewalks, add grass, add trees, add lights, I would say, and retention. It's not the retaining wall, it's the sound barrier in there as well, which everything has a different effect. So, for example, trees remove noise pollution, and sound barrier also reduce noise pollution, especially on highways.
Stop signs. Erect sound barriers.
There we go. That's the sound barrier just there. I want to see if we can, see the transition there. No sound barrier, and it just covers the whole area, which is quite nice. Another thing in here, look at the amount of pedestrians working in here on that bridge, but it's interesting to see that they don't follow one specific line anymore. You can see that they're more spread out through the whole sidewalk, and you have like kind of a 4 line of people walking. And it's not that they are walking on just one direction, they're walking on both directions in there. So this is quite nice. And the parking lots, again, that seems to be quite nice. And yeah, love that. By the way, I saw someone mentioning that this could be a cut on the curb for access. This is not. This is just, I don't know if that's a bus stop in there, but it's definitely not a cut in the curb, unfortunately.
Another new feature.
Oh, look at that. Look at this. There's a tomb car in there. That's awesome. I haven't noticed that until now. That's really, really cool.
And Cities Skyline too. And for returning players, it means Christmas has come early. You can even add decorative touches if you want to. They don't just make your city pretty, they can be useful too.
Yeah.
So those trees you use to line sidewalks, add charm and reduce noise pollution. Of course, building a city is a process of
That looks really, really cool. Like I'm just looking at these. I like all the trees. You know me, I like all the trees. But the water movements, I quite like it. The reflection, the shadows, the lights, for me, it would require a lot less work in terms of getting the graphics the way I like it. Like it's something that I'm really happy with. And again, this seems to be the university building. Looks like it, but yeah, we'll see.
Exploration and experimentation. You'll try stuff out. Some of it you'll like, and some you won't.
And just going back there a little bit. So what I mentioned again about the not having keys, like it's interesting that most of the city in here, you don't actually have keys. You don't have keys in here on the one of the other shots that we have, we can see that. But as you can see, it doesn't look bad without the keys, and buildings are flat on the landing there. I like the expansions that just adding those extra buildings in there, like in here as well. It's quite a lot in the
You'll like,
city.
and some you won't. Want to change an existing road? Use the new
Look at this, how easy it is to create your exits and from your highways. No more trying to figure out if it will look good or not, or trying to move the road in the right angle so the connection looks good. It's easy. First thing that they did, added an extra road to the highway, and now they will add a slip line in here to exit the highway.
place tool. It's like the old upgrade tool, but with more freedom to refine your road network.
As easy as that. Look at this. Everything is set up for you. Now you have a dedicated exit line, lane mathematics, all that sort of stuff. And this works as a accelerator or slower down, or a way to slow down the speed of cars exiting and entering the road, as well as they mentioned the dev
Change
diary.
your mind about a road? Bulldoze tool to the rescue. Click, 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 and that road is a thing of the past. Road building is more intuitive.
Look at these train assets, really cool assets as well. This is a station, love to see that. Car park over there on the left side with some fence in there. Looks pretty good. And overall, like this, look at the reflection. Now we have real reflections on buildings and vehicles. Like this is the actual reflection there. And oh, that makes me so happy. We don't have that fixed image that will be reflected everywhere.
And nuanced in Cities Skylines too. And every pathway has
Look at this bridge as well. Oh, that's so good. I love looking at that. Like this looks really, really nice. And I'm looking like everywhere and oh, it looks so good. And again, reflection makes this a lot more realistic. I just wonder those lights on those buildings, like to have buildings that will have lights on during the day as well. This looks interesting. I can see at the back there is the same over there.
a far-reaching impact. Build your city's roads as a testament to your ambition and a promise to citizens that anything is possible.
Look at this as well. I think this was one of the areas that I mentioned. Like there are some keys over here. I think this is a pathway, no key in there. But most of the areas that we've seen in the city, they don't have keys at all. And they still look very, very good. This looks really nice, really, really nice.
The roads
And I'm quite excited about that. Now, some things that I would like to cover as well in the on the dev diary. So they are talking about. I'll just go through a few topics in here just so we cover everything. Talking about road tools, obviously there was everything that was mentioned about the road diary, especially the replace tool, which is when you can upgrade existing roads. I think something that I would like to make sure everyone knows is that any road in the game you can make a pedestrian road as well. So you now can build infrastructure with pedestrians first. And so you can put down your road, make sure that they're pedestrian, and just pedestrians and car services will go into those roads. It's more or less similar to the Plaza and Promenade DLC that we had in the Cities Skylines one. And this is, for me, is very good because I quite like areas like that and I don't need to zone anything anymore. It's just there and I can quite easily change all of these as well. So that's quite good. You have parallel mode as well in the tools. I think we've seen that briefly in the video. We have several snapping options as well. They don't quite say much about the snapping options that we have, but I know that we have, like, for example, snap to existing geometry, to the grid, and things like that. You also have information about elevation angle, displaying the value of the how steep is the slope as well, so you make a better informed decision on the slope. Obviously, you have the bulldoze tool that can delete things, as we know. for the building options for roads, you can build across existing roads, so that will create intersections automatically, and make it like just creating your road system a little bit easier as well. You can also have the option to cut and fill construction for roads, and you can also do elevated roads running on top of the other roads. I think we've seen example in the video for the elevated roads, like especially in that area that I mentioned, that the road was wiggling around to go to the same level as the highway, and that would be possible in vanilla on CS1. But the cut and fill, I don't remember seeing the video, but there is also an option for that, and adds kind of a wall on the cut for the road, and that looks quite cool as well. Now, they also mentioned that for roads, you have the same categories. You have small roads, medium roads, and large roads, and highways. And each category has multiple different options with two ways, one way, and asymmetric variation. And obviously, you also have the elevated versions of those, and various bridges in different styles as well. So by that, what I understand is that you can actually change the type of bridge that you are using with a specific road, and then that makes things a lot more interesting, because sometimes you're just using a bridge because the way it looks on Cities Skylines 1, but you were stuck with the size of the road that gives you that variation. So that will be quite nice to have as well. You don't have the grass or tree-lined version of the road anymore. This is an option of the replace tool, as we've seen before, and this looks quite good. As I mentioned, you can customize and add bus lanes and train tracks, so you don't have those types of roads anymore. And you can also make that the road be dedicated for only buses and services can operate on them. Now, something that's worth mentioning again is in regards to parking lots. As we mentioned before, the vehicles have to park. They have to park somewhere. So that's why I believe they mentioned that we don't have the pocket cars anymore. And they also mentioned that alongside the roadside parking, you have parking lots and parking facilities. So yeah, you have buildings focused on parking only. And I think this is important because not the type of building, but the parking in the game. Because they also mentioned in the dev diary that when citizens plan their way around the city, their decision-making is affected by the availability of parking in a manner similar to public transport options. Citizens have different preferences regarding time management, comfort levels, and usage of money. This is very important as well, and I think we'll know more in the following dev diaries, but this is a big thing. Some want to find a parking spot as close as possible regardless of the cost, while others are willing to spend more time walking from far away for affordable parking spots or public transport stop. And the road info view shows the availability of parking in the city as well as its usage level, allowing you to make decisions based on the information. Maybe your city needs more parking lots, or perhaps additional public transport options are in order. Listen to me, this will make a huge difference in the traffic in your city. Parking lots and public transportation will be a major factor for traffic in the city. And this is why, like this, what they're explaining here about the citizens having different preference regarding time management, comfort level, and usage of money. It's like the core of all of this. And yeah, I really want to play it. Now, the final item that I would like to cover is, again, road maintenance, and covering some of the things that we mentioned before and some additional ones. So, road maintenance depot, as in Cities Skylines 1, will send vehicles to keep roads in good condition, fighting wear and tear, and decreasing the chance of traffic accidents. Decreasing the chance of traffic accidents. So for me, this confirms that we're having traffic accidents. And they mentioned this again later in the dev diary. But again, not again, but also during winter, snowplows are deployed to keep the roads clear of snow. So the road maintenance depot will have a double role in there with road maintenance during like just summer and just to keep the road condition good, and snowplows that are deployed during snow season or winter to keep the roads clear of snow as well. The road info view show data about the condition of the road, and poor road quality or excess snow can slow down traffic and cause traffic jams. Road conditions also affect the chance of, in bold letters, traffic accidents occurring. So again, this just making it clear we have traffic accidents, and I don't know why, but I'm so happy about that. This will make it so hard to play the game, but at the same time, we've been asking for that for a long time and say, oh, this could be cool if we would have that. I never imagined that we would actually have that in the game. But this can halt traffic and cause gridlocks until they are secured and cleared. So road maintenance building is mandatory to keep your roads safe and to remove the gridlock from that. So road maintenance takes care of these traffic accident aftermaths, clearing out the debris and allowing traffic to continue safely after the police have secured the site of the accident. Another big thing here, doesn't seem like much, but car accident requires multiple services to get sorted out and clear your roads. So we are talking about police to secure the area of the accident. I would say that we'll probably have to send an ambulance for that to make sure that we get someone that might have been injured. And we do have road maintenance to actually clear the area, remove debris, and fix any issues with the road, allowing the traffic to move on. So that's a big change in that we can't basically control, and that'll be playing a major role in the game as well. But there we go. This is the first Dev Diary road tools for Cities Skylines 2. We have one of those for 13 weeks until the game comes out. Every week will be a different topic, and I'll be covering every single one every week. So if you want to see more of those, please don't forget to subscribe. I want to thank you all for all your likes and comments. I really appreciate all of that. I try to reply to all the comments, so please leave me any questions that you might have or any things that I might have missed in the video. Let me know in the comments. Also consider joining our Discord server. The link is in the description. We have a nice community there, and we all are talking about this, as you can imagine, and that'll be a nice area to share screenshots as well. And if you feel like it, subscribe. I will be covering this every week, as I mentioned, and you're more than welcome to join me. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.